Hello, you are joining us again here in the Vast Parlor. I am B May, and today I am joined by the fine fellas all around me from the Jungle Room here in Philadelphia. We got DJ Armen, Joey Breakdown, Art Cuebik, and they have been around forever and have done all kinds of things together and separate over the years in Philadelphia and nationwide, all over the place. So why don't you start and introduce yourself to these people who don't know who you are. Start with Art. How about that? Keep it simple.
So my name is Art Cuebik. I live outside of Philadelphia. I've been DJing since, I'm going to show my age here, I've been DJing since the early 90s, playing in my bedroom and like a couple house parties. I started spinning jungle around probably around 90, 95, 96. And yeah, I mean, I kind of stopped playing jungle for a while, and then me and Joey were doing the whole Let Me Ride thing, but I don't want to go too deep into that. But yeah, I've been playing for a while.
Sure.
Now,
when you started in 95, were you playing jungle, or was it still hardcore? Was it still being called hardcore or breakbeat?
No, when I was DJing, when I started playing out, it was more like the jump up type of stuff I was getting into, and some of like Source Direct, Metalheads, Decoder, Techitch. So I was playing like a lot of that stuff, and picking up a lot of jungle at about the beat.
All right, who's next?
I'll go.
All right.
So I'm DJ Armen. I'm from outside Philadelphia. And I've been spinning jungle and drum and bass since probably about 96, around the same time as Art. I don't even know. I think just going to my first party and hearing the music was like what really got me into it. And yeah.
Do you remember what it was, who it was, what the song was? Do you have like that moment?
No.
Like where you're like,
I just remember hearing Amen breaks and like just being like, what is this?
Sure.
Well, going out of my mind in the corner somewhere. But yeah. So I think I got my turntables, I think in like 96, and started, just playing around in my bedroom for a couple years till I started, getting in the scene and meeting people.
And there was a lot going on at that time, even at that time in Philadelphia. Was that right when a lot of it was kicking off, or was it a little bit later?
No, it was right around that time.
There's so much history here in the city.
It's really kicked off, I feel like, with not even the beginning of Platinum. It was like a year after Platinum started, which was like 97 or 8. Platinum took a little while to pop
moved
off.
to Pittsburgh, from Pittsburgh, right when I moved there in 97.
Well, when did Platinum start? When was that?
I feel like it was like 97, 98.
Yeah, it was the late 90s. I remember that when Ed Rush and Optical, they played at I think it was Concrete Jungle, at Club Skyline.
At Skyline, yeah, I was there.
I think that was 97. There was no one there. It was fucking dead. And I was like complaining on the Breakbeat Science Forum, like no one fucking came out to see Ed Rush and Optical. Like this is Ed Rush and Optical from the UK. No one came out. I'm like,
it was also
sucks.
It was also right around that time that who was it? Damien Diesel Boy and Carl and Dub 2 were on the cover of the City Paper for that party, for the party at Skyline. And that all died, and Platinum kind of popped up after that and was dead at first. That was when I went to Platinum, was like the first year, and then it started to get really, really crazy after like a year. Like it got super busy, and that's when everybody started coming, and I stopped going.
Now, is that because you guys also you've been doing events for a long time, either together, loosely with other people? Was that about around the same time when you guys started doing your events and kind of playing out as a crew, or is that a little bit later on?
No, Joey was the one DJing before everyone.
Yeah.
I heard of Joey when I was in art school.
Joey, we skipped you. I'm sorry, we just started talking about.
Sorry, go.
Oh,
you need to edit this stuff.
I first heard of like jungle and drum and bass in I don't know, probably 93. It was like not even really jungle yet. We used to go to a party called Rainbow Playground that was like a all ages Saturday night thing, you know, telling our parents we were somewhere else and going there. And it started at like midnight. There was no booze because it was all ages, and it went till like 6 o'clock in the morning. And Carl K and Chaos played there. Yeah, it was a rave, but it was in a club in like
Okay, gotcha.
It was down Bank Street at like 2nd and Market. Like it was where the 5 spot eventually was. But the 5 spot like burned down. But before it was 5 spot, it was called Casbah, and that's where Rainbow Playground was. It was a different layout. It was the same space, but it was like a totally different nightclub. And it was rave music. It was 93 techno, trance, house, and then Carl and Chaos, Chris Chaos would play, you know, hardcore and breakbeat and real early jungle. And there was that moment where I was like, what the hell are we listening to? Like, and then, you know, there was like the Rave Till Dawn compilations and like going to Tower Records and buying all those like rave CDs and stuff.
You said Rave Till Dawn.
Yeah, man. Best of Techno, Rave Till Dawn. This is Techno. All the Speed Limit compilations.
Speed Limit 180 BPM.
Yeah.
Dude, when Rave Till Dawn came out when I was in Ohio, and I just remember hearing Apotheosis with that opera from Carmen. I think it was the aria that's in that. I was like, the fuck is this?
Yep.
And then like 2 weeks later, I heard Mr. Kirk's Nightmare. I was like, oh, well, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I followed that stuff into like the golden year, which is like 94, 95 to me, is when it like became jungle, it became something else.
And were you buying vinyl at that time?
I started buying vinyl in like early 95. I got my first set of decks from a guy that my mom worked with. It was like a mobile wedding DJ, and it was 2 belt drive Gemini with a dial pitch. And I taught myself how to mix on those. I got those in like June of 90 or May of 95, and I didn't get 1210s, which I still have, and I don't even use anymore because I use CDJs now. But the 1210s I got like for Christmas in 96 or 97 or something.
Still have them, still work.
Yeah, they've never been serviced. They should be, but I haven't touched them in like. Well, I use one to like rip vinyl. The other one's not hooked up.
From your massive vinyl collection behind you.
It's actually really small now because I sold it or gave it all away. I have the must-haves, but I tried to get rid of most of it. Armen, you got to come down and buy some of this from me.
All right, man. You don't want to sell me any of the stuff that I want.
And anything he wants, I won't get rid of.
So, well, we know Joey got his tables. Did either of you learn how to play or DJ did you just go and watch people, or did you have somebody go, this is how you do it and this is what you do, or is it just kind of like, I can figure this out?
I was the OG train spotter. Like I remember specifically watching people like Josh Wink. Like I remember going to a party and sitting and the decks were like right at eye level and watching him play, or like people like Odie, seeing Odie for the first time, like crazy trickster, like turntablist, drum and bass. Like I just wanted to be able to beat match and like have like a continuous flow of music. I didn't really get too tricky, and I just wanted to be able to like beat match and just mix records
and have it sound good.
Yeah. Just I like the idea of like a whole continuous flow. Like, you're providing the soundtrack for like an hour and you can take it from one place to another and combine things and whatever.
You weren't trying to be there wasn't a big battle element to.
No, I'm no good at scratching.
How was that here overall for a while? Because I know when I was in Ohio and Pittsburgh, there was always a couple of people, and in Cleveland there was always like 2 people a year that were like the scratch drum and bass hip hop DJs. Was there a lot of that here?
Yeah, we had a bunch of those.
Yeah, I mean, take a J Smooth.
Well, yeah.
Swing Kid too. Swing Kid was one.
Swing Kid.
J Smooth.
Yep.
Carl K scratched here and there.
Yeah, Carl scratched a lot.
Carl's the best scratcher.
Really?
He does it most back in the heyday when he would do it a lot. More of like a hip hop style of scratching.
Huh. I don't think I ever once saw him scratch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, he used to. Yeah.
So then, how did you guys all come together? Was it just because of the I don't want to say the smallness of the scene, but I mean it is comparatively it's pretty tight knit. Was it just like, or would you guys like record day? Was everyone always at the record store?
I've
Or was it
known.
just, oh hey, I know you. I've seen you a few times around, or mutual friends. Well, how did you guys end up being the unit that all these years later is still together doing stuff?
Well, I've known about Joey. Like I was saying earlier, I've known about Joey since I was in art school through this mixtape. And
yeah, like me giving mixtapes out, and somehow it got to Art like before we knew each other.
It's like it had this that Dina Howard song, and I'm like,
Freak Like Me Jungle remix.
I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing! Like, I need to see this dude. So then we later on me and this dude Jay, Jason Jay Shell, Disciple, right, Brian?
Yeah,
from way back. He went to art school with me.
I think he did a tape for Bulletproof.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. We went to art school together, and we threw a party at Club Skyline, and we booked Joey as a headliner.
Nice.
And
Joey,
I was actually like nervous. I'm like, oh my god, that's Joey Bricktown. And he rolled in with two girls, and one girl was was Vanessa's good friend, who we're all good friends with her, and I think the other girl was Jen, his good friend, who turned out to be my wife many years later.
He booked the world famous Joey Bricktown.
What's funny about that though is that Vanessa, who he's talking about, is how I know Armen, because Armen and I go back even further. I've known Armen since we were like almost kids, I feel like we were like probably 15, 16 when we first met each other. We were in high school.
I was 14 when I met you.
Yeah.
And was it music related or was it social?
It was
50. What?
Yeah,
no way.
I met you.
Are you kidding me?
Well, so this girl Vanessa I went to high school with. I was in freshman year with her. We went to Kappa together, and she moved to a different school, but we would hang out, and she lived in Mount Airy, so I would go and hang out with her. And then there was this whole crew of people that would hang out over there, and we'd go to parties together, or we'd hang out at Vanessa's in her backyard or whatever. And Armen was sort of a loose part of that, and that's how I met him, was through that group of people.
Yeah, at Vanessa's house is the first time that I heard Joey ever play. This is like, this goes way back to, beginnings.
Like the first summer of '95, probably, when I was first DJing.
That's crazy.
Yeah, me and Armen, we were roommates.
But even before that, I met Art in when I was in high school through just mutual friends. Like it wasn't even part of the rave scene. And then we would have house parties, and he would show up and play jungle, and I started talking to him, and that's kind of how we became friends.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
And just kind of all flowed together. Like I know him, and then you're there, and then hey, you know him.
We got all involved in the Philly drum and bass circuit, so it was kind of like a big family.
We teamed up when in I guess 2001, 2002 was Tronic when that started. And that was it was the beginning of Liquid Funk, and I was not in a drum and bass for a little while, and then I was back into it because of all that stuff that was coming out. And I worked in Old City down the street from St. Jack's, and knew a girl who I'm still friends with now, Art's wife's sister, who bartended there. And I would, during the day, work there, and I would go and eat my lunch at her bar, and we would just bullshit. And one day she was like, they need a DJ for one of these nights upstairs on a Friday. And I was like, you should let me do it. I know it's drum and bass, and I know it's Old City, but just let's see what we can do. So I got Armen involved because he knew people. I wasn't in the scene at that point. I kind of drifted away when Platinum and 99, 2000, all the crazy neuro funk and stuff. And I told Armen to invite people and get people out because he was DJing and stuff. And I went with, I don't know, it was that party in Manayunk that I first met Art. I remember first meeting you because I think you DJ'd at Armen's birthday or something at
that was Grape Street.
Yeah.
Grape Street Pub. It was upstairs.
I remember hearing Art DJ there for the first time, and then when we started doing this thing a couple years later in Old City, which was like stupid at first, nobody came for the first couple months or whatever, and then there was a forum, PhillyJungleMassive.com, that Armen got me on, and we started promoting it on there, and then people started coming out, and then knowing Art was a good DJ from hearing him before and knowing that they were friends, I was like, bring Art down, and then the three of us just started playing there all the time together, and that was like
after he booked you.
Yeah, but I don't even really remember that gig. I don't remember Art as part of that gig that he was talking about.
Oh yeah, I know. I brought it up to you like many times in the past, and you're like, I don't even remember that.
The first time I really remember talking to Art was we did a gig together at the Mask and Wig.
The what?
Like the Mask and Wig was this.
Oh, Mask and Wig.
Yeah.
It was like an after hours like type of deal in like off the Locust, I think. Like
yeah, it's like 11th and in some weird back alley.
It's Penn's Theater.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
We looked at renting that out for a wedding, so that's all.
It's perfect. Yeah, perfect spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool from what we saw. But
Art and I played there for this drum and bass night, and I remember like talking to you at the bar a bunch that night, and that was a good party.
Yeah, I had the White Label album that J Magic, the Solarized.
Yeah, that was album. Like when that and like the Creed.
That's one of your favorite fucking albums. Yeah.
I like Solarized. I don't like Space Invaders.
Space Invaders. That's it. I knew it was one of them. That was like.
I love that track.
I should post it in that thread in the group.
I had to bump that thread. I'm like, oh my god, it's such a great thread, man. So I bumped it. We have this. So we have this thread in our Jungle Room Facebook group called. I think Joey started. I think last year. I think.
Yeah.
Like post your most like hated drum and bass track. And I think what did you post? What was the one that you posted? Original Nutta.
Original Nutta. Yeah.
And it turned into this huge thread. Like there's so many posts on that thread. It was great.
Very funny.
There's just a lot of shit drum and bass out there, man. You know.
I think that went on for like weeks, didn't it?
Yeah.
People were commenting on that for weeks.
Yeah. It's active again.
Yeah.
And then my light's messing me up. So I'm like, do I need to fucking move my light?
Yeah, it does kind of look like you're like, being interrogated or interrogating someone.
Let's see if I can get this to work. I've always done them during the day, so I've never needed a light.
This meeting has been upgraded by the host and now includes unlimited minutes. Yes.
Nice.
Oh, okay. Did that show up on everyone's screen?
Yeah.
All right. Well, everybody, we've been on 40 minutes so far.
Wow.
Almost. I was trying to think of like, when did I actually meet you guys? I know I met Armen.
Yeah.
I've known about you, Bagel, on flyers.
Yeah.
Anything
I've known about you on flyers forever.
Yeah, just like seeing flyers in 611, I'll see your name because your name is Bagel. Like, who's this DJ named Bagel?
Yeah.
You play your mixtape at 611.
Yeah,
really?
Because you weren't too far. Pittsburgh and Philly always kind of mingled, so.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's true. I don't know, did you guys know the story of how I met Armen for the first time in person?
Mm-hmm. I don't think so.
No.
I was out in San Francisco, and I was out with Neil, Juju, and those guys, and we were doing a bunch of dates out there, and we were flying to go back, and I was like, well, I'm going to go back to Pittsburgh. I'm going to change my fucking suitcase, and I'll just meet everybody down in Miami, and we're going to the Winter Music Conference. And I don't remember who got on the plane first, but long story short, the plane door closes, and me and Armen are sitting next to each other on a flight to Miami. And it was like, oh, what's up? Where?
In first class.
Yeah.
We first got upgraded to first class.
Right. So we fucking balled it. We've had a baller flight all the way down from here to Miami, first class, just getting fucking loose. I don't even know, it was like 2000.
Squashed on the plane. I think that was like 2002, maybe.
I think it was definitely after Y2K, but it was before I moved here, so somewhere between 2000 and 2004.
The WMC, what a mess.
Good times.
Good times.
Debauchery. So much debauchery.
Man. Yeah, that's all we'll say about that.
Yeah.
It
was fun though.
It's the only place I've ever been drugged. Like slipped a Mickey.
Oh man.
Wow.
Really?
That sucks.
Yes. We were at I don't remember what party. Actually I have a picture right before I blacked out. I had like a disposable camera with me and I was taking pictures. And I took a picture. It was like, one of those nights where you get to the party. I think it was like the Viren party where you're there at like 8:30 because you don't want to miss out and you're there all just in the same party all fucking night. And by like 9:30, I'm all like, I'm fucked. Like, fucked up. Like, at that point, it was going to take more than one drink to go anywhere remotely close to what I was feeling. And I remember I just started puking on the fucking people at the bar.
Oh, man.
Wow.
And I went outside and I puked on the doorman's shoe. And he was about to fucking apparently, I don't remember any of this. And all of a sudden, fucking Reed Speed comes running down the street like, leave him alone. He's fucked up. Somehow drugged me to my friend's apartment, and I woke up like a day later.
Oh, you're lucky, man. She saved you.
No idea. Like, and they were like kind of like looking at me like, you've been on our floor for like 20 hours and you haven't moved.
Oh, that's scary.
And they're like, what the fuck did you do? And I'm like, nothing. It was literally, and everyone's like, what the fuck happened? But, so yeah, I don't need to go back there. It's good. It's good. So all these years later, you've met each other. You mingled. You did the thing at St. Jack's. You did Let Me Ride.
Yeah.
That was after Tronic and after Platinum, correct?
Yeah.
Or was that in
conjunction? I think that was probably like the late
like 2005 we started that. 2005 we started it.
Let Me Ride.
I think that was like right after I moved here.
Really?
Really? It was 05 to 08 because the first original ones were summer of 2005 at Medusa when we first. It was like July when we started it.
Mm-hmm.
And now, all these years later, you guys. So after taking time off and raising, starting a family, doing life, all kinds of things, what was it a year ago? Year and a half? This my sense of time in 2020 is
almost 2 years.
2 years. Did you just go, you know what, we're gonna do?
It was art.
Jungle Room. Was it something that you guys wanted to do, or was it because you guys did it? Did you do it first by yourself, or would you do it?
We did it originally like a while ago, like late 2008. We did the first Jungle Rave at Medusa.
Yeah,
I remember Jungle Rave.
Right. We did a couple of those.
Yeah, I think we were like talking. We were talking together. Like we were like wondering, like like what if we threw like a jungle night? It's like it's been a while since we.
No, we weren't talking. Art was talking about it. He wouldn't shut up about it.
I wanted to do it, man.
It was probably no, for real. It was like a year of him like, we should do another one. We should do another one. And then when we were finally like, all right, let's actually do it. And we did the one at the Kyber, and it was awesome.
Well, we'll rewind back to the one in Medusa. I feel like it's all about timing, man. It's all about timing. That party was so fucking packed. People wanted it. They wanted that shit. Like it was
hanging on the fucking ceiling.
Yeah, it was wild. But then fast forward to the Kyber, I was saying, it was talking about nonstop. I'm like, we need to do this again. And we did it. And again,
same thing. It was packed.
Yeah.
The timing, and it was packed.
Yeah.
And did you do that solo, or was that part with what the worship thing was?
No.
This was us. I reached out to I think we posted it on the Jungle Room board, like trying to figure out where we can throw it. And my friend Ashley, she said like, oh, how about you do it at the Kyber? So then
did we even have the Jungle Room board at that time, or it was just? I think you posted it, didn't you?
Yeah, we did. Well,
all right. I was thinking Silk City for some reason. Sorry.
Kyber.
The Kyber Room. Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
I can't remember. It was somewhere on Facebook, and I just put it out there.
Yeah.
And Ashley, and I hit my friend Ashley, and she's like, yeah, we can do it in the Kyber, So we set that up. We got sound from I think it was my own speakers.
Yep.
From my own shitty speakers. From my controller.
We had that, and we got the left right came through with the sub for us, which was.
Oh yeah, right. You got the sub too. The big ass sub that we put in the bottom.
That started a relationship with those guys, which has been great because they're awesome dudes and their sound is great and they're super easy to work with and they're like just, you know, they always have somebody there to help us if we have issues because we're DJs, we're not sound people. The three of us were like not, I mean, Art's probably like the techiest with that kind of stuff, but I feel like we're like struggling when it's the three of us that have to do it.
Like that time when Mason was trying to get his Serato hooked up. He was sweating bullets. It was ridiculous. Like it just wouldn't hook up, and like we just didn't have we just didn't have what we needed for him to get set up. Because I thought he was going to be plugging in right into my Serato box, but that wasn't the case. And I'm trying to like get this all together. Joey is in the back, in the dark, in the room, like texting me, laughing. Like texting LOL as I'm like working this thing. He's like laughing in the over in the corner, all like giggling.
It's good to have that laid back relationship.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
it worked, right? We got it working.
Yeah.
And then, so just from then, it's just been simmering. Would you say that then the opportunity to come because you guys were doing the monthly or relatively?
It was like quarterly that we were doing the shakedown thing, and that happened because we're friends with those guys for years, and they were doing a night their regular shakedown because that is a monthly or was before COVID. So it was the same night as ours, and so Will hit us up and was like, "Hey, why don't we collaborate so we're not competing?" You know?
Yeah.
So we thought it was a great idea because they used to do, or they were partly involved with this party in Philly back in the 90s called Yo Man. And Yo Man was house on the downstairs, and then the upstairs was drum and bass. It was Carl, Trace, and Dub 2, and Jay Kennedy. And it was awesome. Like, you'd go to Yo Man on Friday nights, and it would be like just plate after plate after plate of like insanity. So
that's what got me into it.
Yeah.
That's what really got me into it. I went upstairs and like I heard Mad Different Methods for the first time ever. And I'm like,
I'll do it.
What is this? Like seriously, like hearing that for the first time, like, huh? This is Method Man sample. Like,
they just had like walls of speakers. This is like, I guess 96 and a 97. It was like before Skyline, before Platinum. This was at 1415 Locust. And it was like this bar all the way upstairs that they would play with like a checker floor and no lights except like one spotlight over the DJ and just like two walls of speakers on either side of them.
Well, I think there was a strobe, right? There was a strobe somewhere, like one
it was like a strobe or a laser, whatever, like one light they brought that week or whatever. Like it was super low budget and it was just blunt smoke and like a wall of sound and all the, like the early tech step and it
was grimy as fuck, and it was awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
Supposed to be.
The sound at that time, and just that room in itself was.
That was like one of my favorite Philly drum and bass nights ever. It was
incredible.
So when
Trace played Mutant Revisited like every single week, like came the shit out of it, and of course he should.
Right.
He made that tune, but it is.
And was it did it just go off every week?
Yeah.
They played all kinds of crazy stuff there. There's all kinds of crazy tunes getting dropped there, like shadow boxing for the first time I ever heard that there.
Mm-hmm.
And there wasn't YouTube, there wasn't SoundCloud, so it wasn't like you could hear that 20 times in a week. It was like that was your chance to hear it. And that was it.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you had to be there at that minute to hear that fucking plate get dropped.
Right.
You're not gonna hear it anywhere else.
Yeah.
Do you think that aspect of the culture going away has hurt people getting into it and supporting because it's almost when it's available all the time, took something out of it? Or do you think that it actually helped push things forward?
I think it helped push things forward so the music is more accessible. So then when people like listen to it, they find out like is someone in my city, in my location playing this out. So that would prompt them to seek DJs out and go to where they're playing. So I think it helps, Yeah,
I was talking to somebody the other day and they were talking about how often they hear drum and bass or how people can hear it. And I'm like, isn't that the point? You know, like, do you want one to only hear your stuff once?
Right.
Like, there's like, I'm not super big on classic rock, but it's like, why? I mean, can you imagine someone going, you know what? Don't play any more Rush. I've heard it before. I need the new shit. And I only want to hear that new shit once for 45 seconds, and then I want something else.
Right. It's old.
Yeah, I've never understood that approach. I mean, I love the fact that this genre and what we like is about pushing boundaries and new things all the time. But I find it interesting when people don't want to hear things more than once.
I feel like it's kind of been like that in Philly. You know, I feel like the Philly drum bass scene has historically been kind of snobby. You know, especially, I mean, I think the drum bass scene in general, I mean, with the whole dub plate culture.
Sure.
You know, it's like, oh, I heard that in dub plate. I don't want to. I'm not buying that. You know,
I'm not blown away by something new.
Yeah, I heard that already.
Sure.
You know, well, I just bought this last week. I'm not playing again. You know, I had it on a white label.
Did people in Philly when they would go to the record store, would they buy like all copies of a record that came out and they wanted to be like the only one to have it, and they would just buy like 5 copies of the same record or 4 copies if the record store got it?
Oh, and I don't know.
I never experienced that.
No.
In the when I worked at the record store, I never experienced that really.
But we kept all the white labels. We kept all the white labels for ourselves.
Stick them in their hold bins all the time and try to hoard them. Me and Icon used to argue all the time because he would always grab the white labels on Tuesdays and stick a copy in his hold bin or 2 copies in his hold bin.
Nobody else fucking could even remotely have it.
Yep.
I think
that was the only time. It was only with the people that worked there, that I had to deal with that.
I didn't do that shit.
Yeah, I knew people who would they would order and say, how many copies of Warhead do you have? I'll take all 4 of them.
Wow.
Really?
No, I never heard anything like that before.
And I don't know if that's because if that was just a regional thing or is because the talent was coming through in the raves, but there wasn't that other culture or community, and there wasn't the producers in the Midwest. Maybe Chicago. Well, in Chicago there was a ton, but outside of that, so it's like there wasn't white labels. There wasn't a bunch of people making music or coming through playing plates. So it was like you had to do whatever you had to do, especially with rave money.
Right.
Rave money is good money. So then you were doing this event. It was going off. You were enjoying it. I know some of you started working on tunes, and then the whole COVID happened this year. Then you guys said, well, fuck, we might as well just go live. Because, I mean, I know actually all 4 of us have been online doing shows for years, in between at different times. Did it make sense? Was it a natural reaction to just start that? Like, well, we can't do our monthly anymore. We might as well do this. Or was it just kind of we all wanted to do it?
We had another shakedown lined up right when that all happened. It was coming up. I don't remember exactly when it was, but I think we were disappointed because we were like, is it going to happen? Like, is this lockdown going to be like a week or 2 or what? At the very beginning of it. Yeah. And then that got canceled, and right around that time, everybody was just streaming. So I think we were like, let's pick a day that we're all around and we'll just play.
Yeah, we just rode that wave because everyone was doing these Twitch sets.
Sure.
So, we're like, hey, why not?
100%. I mean, I think it's better than Facebook Live.
I was missing doing my show anyway because I stopped doing that in 2015, and that was a good time. I love doing that.
I was listening to that today on my run, the certain sound mix.
Yeah,
I think it was 2014 set, and you were shouting out BMA because he would play after you.
Yeah.
Oh right, because that's right when I started here. Yeah.
You're on the West Coast at the time, I think, because you're saying this got 6 p.m. Pacific.
I might have just been saying that just to, because were you on the West Coast? doing
I was
that?
out in San Francisco for a while back.
Yeah.
In 2014, I was out there because I was still
Oh, right.
last job, so I was out there all the time. And I did a couple of shows out there from some guys from actually the old. These guys that used to do a party in San Jose called Submerged, and they had the technology. Cause I was like, I had it, but I didn't have a whole setup. So they're like, you can come over here and do it every week. So I was like, cool, we'll just hang out and play tunes. So yeah, that's what it was.
The Twitch thing was appealing too because Art made it super. Art did it first and was like, "Here, this is how you set it up," and it's super easy, very easy.
Good for those who are technologically challenged.
Like you?
Yeah.
Armen always has issues.
It reminds me of like whenever Joey, remember we used to play Let Me Ride at Medusa, like every night we would set up, there would be something wrong. Like I think one time someone like purposely cut like the wires to the speakers. I'm like, why would you do that? Well, it's fucking shithole that we love so much.
Are you finding that playing predominantly for the last 6 months online only, has that changed what you've played?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Sure. I'm not playing for anyone. I'm playing for myself.
Sure.
Yeah.
So are you finding that the selection is different, the sounds are different, the flow is different, your whole mentality behind it's different?
Yeah. For me, it's become headphone music. I'm not playing for a club. You know, like I play a lot of drum funk, a lot of deep cuts, dirty, dark jungle drum and bass. I mean, I think if I was at playing out in a club, it would be a little bit more different. You know, I'd probably be playing a little bit more dance floor oriented, but I'm not feeling that. You know.
Maybe.
Same. I don't know. I've been playing stuff that I, didn't think I would play really that much. I don't know. I've been gravitating towards like more B-side sounding stuff, and
we kind of play a little bit similar.
Yeah.
Armen.
Yeah, I think so.
Which is why it's good that I'm sandwiched in between.
Yeah. Yeah. Joey plays a little definitely a lot different than we do, which is good, because we have a variety. We're playing a variety of styles.
It's good.
Yeah, I like switched up my style totally when we started doing the Twitch shows. Just because I don't know, I'm really into like the dance floor stuff right now. The just real minimal. I love the foghorns. I love all the just I don't know. It's so like tense and anxious, and it just feels like so right with what's like happening in the world right now.
Sure.
Like it feels immediate and like disposable, and I don't know. It's super quick and fun and easy to mix. It's, there's not a lot of complicated drum patterns and stuff. Not that stuff's not hard for me to mix after all these years, but it's like playing techno, I feel like. Like it's like almost like everything's on a 4/4 because the breaks are real minimal.
Sure. And it's all about how you feel that space.
Mm-hmm.
And the textures as opposed to patterns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those guys that are making that stuff are just like, it's all about the weirdest, craziest bass noises that you can possibly come up with.
It is weird. It like takes like a weird turn. Like it's not your typical like 2-step like jump uppy. Like it's like
there's like a heaviness, like a darkness to it. I feel like it can be jumpy, but it's like heavy. Like
I like the darker stuff. I like the darker,
moody.
I like the moodier stuff compared to the more like dancey stuff.
Who is doing it? Armen. Who is it right now that you're like, I could play this dude or this woman or this group without question, whatever they put out? Is there anyone in particular that's just like that's doing it for you right now?
Coco Bryce, AKO, Rupture. Like those are my top three probably right there.
What did I just see? Was it the purple vinyl that AKO just did? Was it yesterday or this week, or they just dropped that crazy purple?
Purple?
Yeah. I don't think it's part of the series, but I saw.
There's a good chance. I know Coco Bryce did one like a splatter.
That was it. With the Snoopy in front.
It was Coco
Bryce released on. No, it was on a Rupture. No, that wasn't a Rupture. Sorry.
Yeah, that is on Rupture, but it's Coco.
Stank. It's good. What about you, Jeff?
I love the sauce. It's
Like
you
the
know,
sauce, huh?
the sauce. Do you know about the sauce?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, man. It's the DLR Hydro and the Total Science guy spin back. So good. Their production is insane. It's just so good. And then that guy Trex. Trex is really good.
AX from Moving Shadow?
No, I don't know. Is it?
No, Trex, Trex.
Trex,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Trex. I'm trying to think of who else. The all the like Serum, Souped Up, Sofa Sound.
That new Mosey EP is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
31.
Yeah.
Big Weekend Out.
Yeah. The artwork on those releases is awesome.
Yeah,
I think that they don't. That it's good shit, but they don't. And the same thing with what DLR and that whole Bristol thing. They don't. I like the fact that they don't take it too serious.
Yeah.
They're serious.
Totally.
They're deadly serious, and they're good. But it's not like, you see some of these cats like, I just flash back to like every promo shot with like the drum and bass guys with like the turtlenecks up to here. And they have to look fucking angry at everything.
Right, the promos are their promo shots are like this. They're like,
right, and it's like the Helly Hansen polo with the hood,
Mm-hmm.
fucking stiff standing. Wow, that looks like a good person. That looks like a great time. I can't wait to go to that party. With the guy, but it's like there seems to be I've always found there's been like the three different like the groups in drum and bass. There's a total ultra science fiction, everything's fucking serious, it's the end of days, and then there's the people who just like love to take the piss, and then the Rasta Dreddy jungle guys.
right, yeah. And then you have this total like left field like genre, which is like it sounds like almost Avex Twin,
Who's doing it for you? Like what that year?
I like Martian Man, Forest Drive West, anything on Repertoire, AKO. What am I missing? Rupture. I'm really feeling anything like drum funky, chopped up amens, old school breaks, lots of delay, lots of reverb, dirty, grimy. Not really crazy about like tight drums. So sorry, dude. But I mean that's what I like, and that's what I'm feeling. Especially during this whole COVID shit. It's like this is the music that I'm truly feeling. It just comes out naturally, especially the music I'm making.
Sure. So speaking of Repertoire, you had a song come out on them. How did that all happen?
It's a tune.
The tune.
Thank you.
It's a tune. It's a banger.
It's fucking
Thanks,
great.
dude. Thank you. So I saw online that like a Repertoire posted something about them looking for tracks from like artists who are lesser known or haven't really put out much, and it was going to be fucking this LP. So I was already working on something, so I sent a tune over to Ben Repertoire, and I think probably in a couple weeks later he replies back and like, yeah, it's a lot of really good ideas in this one, but I was wondering if you can work it a little bit more. And I know he asked me if I was working on anything else. So I thought about it. I'm like, you know what? I don't feel like working on this tune anymore. I'm done with it. Like if I worked on it even more, it's just gonna sound like shit, or it's just. I just thought it was a waste of time. So
produce a track easily.
Yeah, that's overnight. So I replied back. I'm like, I'm working on something else, but I don't feel like I feel like I still don't want to rework anymore. So I don't know. I just forgot about it. I forgot after a month. I was like, whatever. Then all of a sudden I started working on something. This track Photographic came pretty naturally. Like I finished it in a couple weeks, and I sent it to Joey. I always send it to Joey and Armen and ask them what they think. They liked it. I posted it on Dogs and Acid. They had the grid, and you know, a lot of people are like saying that they liked it. So I'm like, oh, I'm getting good feedback. So let's see what happens. So I sent it over. I sent this track over to Repertoire again, and they got back to me in, I don't know, like a week or something. And they're like, we love it. Can you send us a pre-master? Blah blah blah. I'm like, holy shit. And they're like, and then he also said that like they actually wrapped up the project. Like they were like about to wrap this project up, but we want to include your track in. So it was like it was a last minute thing. So yeah, so that's what happened, man. You know, it was a pretty exciting thing, man. You know, I didn't expect it.
And is that your first release?
Yeah, first release on the label.
And then it ends up on the Rupture podcast with
Repertoire
2 weeks later.
Yeah, right. Like, are you fucking
Rinse
kidding me?
FM. It was Rinse FM.
Yeah, Rinse FM. Yeah, you played it on there, and you fucking shout out my name, man.
That's insane.
So, yeah, it is.
What other? Because that's obviously we're all like, you know, that's right up. You know, we're all huge fans of that. Have you gotten like just some random feedback, like some 14-year-old kid in Norway is like, oh, I got your track. This is really good.
Yeah, I mean, just from other tracks that I posted on my Bandcamp. I have like a couple tracks out there on Bandcamp. I've seen like on Double O's Rinse mix. I saw in the comments and like, oh man, like what is this track? And I fast forward to the time, like, oh, it's my track. Like this person's talking about. And some other person that ID'd it, they linked it from the Bandcamp, Repertoire's Bandcamp site. So that felt pretty good.
Sure.
I had this other person, producer, SenseNet. She also has a tune on that Repertoire LP, and she plays it. She's played it on her show a couple times, and on the Twitch show. Nice deal in the chat. Like someone said they wish they had it on vinyl. Like, oh, that's cool.
Has anyone else? Can you talk about anything? Because you know how this genre is. Has anyone reached out and been like, "Hey, what else are you working on?" Has people reached out to you for more stuff or new tunes? Or
yeah, Double O reached out to me.
No big deal.
Double O, Trace. Well, I mean, I'm already friends with Trace, but he said that he's like, I really like your track. You know, like let me know if you have any more tunes. I'm like, yeah, man. But yeah, Trace from the Cypher and Double O from Rupture asking me for any more tunes. So it feels good, man. It feels good.
Not a bad year, not a bad month.
And he's got more coming.
Yeah. Working on a couple right now.
Nice. What about you guys? I know, Joey, you've dabbled a little bit.
I have like 50 tunes that are not done.
Yeah, I've been trying to work on tunes with this guy. It's like pulling teeth.
I'm so bad at finishing things because I get bored with them. So I get like halfway into a track and then I start working on something else.
I sent you something.
We'll go back. And are you guys on Ableton?
Yeah. I haven't done anything.
He's like,
I have it. I have hardware. I just, I haven't gotten there yet.
Do you want to? Not everyone wants to,
I do want to, but I just like my attention span for learning how to work everything and do everything it's minimal.
Yeah. It's never ending.
Yeah.
It's never ending.
You just need someone to sit down with you and teach you,
Yeah, it also just requires putting time into it, Like so much of what I learn is just sitting here playing with it.
Yeah. And YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what that does? Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just finding this out now. When it's like the simplest, most basic thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's what Ascend does? Shit. I had like 40 reverbs open.
Right.
Why isn't this?
I can hear you more beats. Where's the drums?
Oh, nice cats. How is since you guys have been doing this now? It's been 6 months, right? Pretty much right when this all started. You guys started doing the show on Sunday?
The Twitch shows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How
It's been that long. Wow.
Have you seen a difference in people listening and numbers, and is the show growing, or is it just like, or do we even care? Is it just like, this is our Sunday thing, we do it, we have a great time?
The crowd, I mean, the listeners grow every week. It helps if Art starts, I feel like, because Art tends to, he does restream, so he streams in a bunch of different places, and I feel like he gets more listeners that way. Plus, he's like Mr. Popularity, and everybody knows Art, so like he just has a lot. No, seriously, because he'll like post it on his personal page and stuff, and then we raid our channels onto each other. So like Art will give me all of his listeners when I go on after him, and then in Armen, you know. So if it's not in that order, I don't feel like we get as many listeners. I feel like we need Art to start it off. Plus, he's good at he's good at starting it off anyway with like his kind of the stuff he's been playing is more experimental and.
Oh, it's perfect. It's perfect because like when you go on, it's like bam.
Yeah.
You know.
Then I play real dance floor stuff for an hour and a half.
Yeah. Then we wind it down with Armen.
Yeah. But the thing that I've gotten the most out of this, and they'll make fun of me for this, is I'll post the archives on Mixcloud, and I'm obsessed with the Mixcloud charts because I keep. He's
always screenshotting his charts to us. How about tell him about the one time recently with your mix shut up?
I logged on in the morning to check where I was, and it was number 2 on the global drum and bass chart. And I was like, how the fuck did this happen? But it was like a weird glitch, because then 5 minutes later I was like 30 or something. But
it was amazing.
Like, it was for real there for like a minute.
People pay so much money just to be like in the top 10.
Hey man, I was number 12 last week. That was the highest chart I ever had.
This is Joey's other claim to fame.
The mix.
Yeah.
He headlined Art Cuebik's first party, and he was
right.
I mean, it does.
It plays into like, you know, being a kid and like looking at the Billboard charts, you know, like
yeah.
You know.
It feels good to know that people are listening to what you're doing. I mean, you don't want to be like, oh, I'm doing all this. I mean, yeah, you're doing it for fun, but at the same time, when you put it out there, it's nice to know that, you know.
You're not doing it for nothing.
Yeah, that's why I mean, like the people, the big thing now, they do their Spotify numbers at the end of the year, and people are like, man, fuck Spotify. I'm like, man, if I had fucking 1 million people listening to me, I'd be fucking happy as shit. You know, like it's just bit of my old crawl. But
this music is niche. It's like a niche genre. It's like, you know, it's like we're never gonna get like those numbers, you know.
Yeah. So why not enjoy when you get a little, when people listen, you know, like.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I'll take it, you know.
Why shouldn't you feel proud about the accomplishments that you do, you know?
Yeah.
I don't think I think it's quite okay, personally. So I normally would ask, well, what's next? But who the fuck knows?
I don't think any of us know.
No.
Let's keep on doing what we're doing, you know.
We've talked about maybe doing like an outdoor party, but I don't know. It's just like so iffy and kind of like there's people like frowning upon those that are doing those gigs.
And how can you control all those people? I mean, like you can't like control people from like social distancing and wearing their mask. I don't want to do that. So
it's just people get loose.
Yeah, y'all can get loose in your own party. I don't want to be responsible for that.
Like it sounds really good in my studio. Like I don't need to leave the house.
No.
Yeah, I mean, thank God for technology that we're able to, you know, not only do I not have to leave my house to buy tunes, you know, I can just sit here and buy tunes and then I can play them to people right over the internet. And I'm not making any money doing it, but I'm having fun.
Sure.
Yeah. All that matters.
Yeah.
We all have jobs, so it's not like we're doing it for money.
It would be nice. It's always nice to make money playing drum and bass because that's not a usual thing.
Well, you can always put like your Venmo or your PayPal link like on your Twitch screen. You know, that's what a lot of people do.
I feel like I just do it for charity instead of doing it for myself.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm lucky.
Yeah.
I mean, the DJs that do it for real and working DJs, I feel bad for them, and they should be doing that, because they don't have enough way to make money, a lot of them.
Yeah, totally.
I think it's cool that, people, I don't know what else he's got going on, but like we were talking about Doc Scott, we listen to him every Saturday, and he does that, and like he shouts out everybody that donates and stuff, and he's like, he'll talk about it during the show. Like, I've been a touring DJ for 30 years, and I don't know anything else. Like, I've been out of work for 6 months,
Yeah.
He's got a family to feed.
I was kind of like, when I started seeing people do that, and then I was just kind of watching what some people were saying who are definitely not our age, and they're like, this is how we grew up. Like, you guys had radio shows where you could literally go to a radio station and be a VJ or a DJ, or like, this is our equivalent of that, you guys got paid how much to play at raves for, like, people think that's silly. So why not get paid to do the same thing, but it goes directly to us instead of some promoter that you don't have to chase down. Like, the phone and the computer is the TV, the radio, the billboard, the magazine, everything now.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So every Sunday, 12 to 3.
12 to
4:30.
12 to 4:30.
12 to 4:30 Eastern Standard Time.
We all wanted to play more than an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta say, when Art was off frolicking on the beach, it was nice to play for 2.
Yeah.
I kind of enjoyed playing a longer set.
Yeah,
it's a good set. 3 hours is too long, I feel like, and 1 hour is too short. 2 hours is pretty good.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there's so much good music too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's so much good music. There's like so much good music by producers who are so like lesser known, like especially on Bandcamp. I mean, that's where I get all my music.
Yeah, I think. Have you been with the show? Have people like that you just randomly be like, hey, you have this show, have a tune? Our producer.
I've gotten a couple tunes that way.
People were like,
being given a tune because of the show.
Yeah.
I don't remember. No, I don't think so. No.
When we all had our shows on, I don't remember what the platform was, but when we all had our shows, I would get that every once in a while. But since we've been doing the Jungle Room Twitch channel, nothing yet.
Wait a minute, Brian, you sent me a couple tunes. You sent me a couple tunes on Instagram.
He set you up for that because he wants you to.
You bastard.
Whoa, is anyone sending you tunes? No.
Yeah. Actually, I played your track. I think I played my track, and I mixed in your track after mine.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Little Philly sound.
Yeah.
What haven't you done that you want to do on your shows?
We talked about somehow kind of like having guests or something. I think it would be cool to do when we used to do the old station that we all had shows on. We did like an all day thing, and I think it would be cool to do something like that on Twitch, like whether it was all Philly drum and bass DJs, and then we just rated to each other for like the entire 12 hours or something.
Like a marathon, yeah.
Something like that might be cool, or we could do it for charity, or something like that. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I like having a show because I like it seems like a residency where you like can break tunes and like play them week after week, where it's fun to like be able to have a regular thing where you're playing to an audience.
Yeah, like it's part of our routine now.
Yeah, it's kind of like having a residency at a club, but you're not really.
And we record our sets. We get to like record a set and we post it up on like Mixcloud or SoundCloud. So it's like we're making mixtapes every week.
Yeah.
Sure. Are you recording the video? Are you posting the videos too?
Yeah.
No. I had the videos on my Twitch channel. They're all saved, but I don't really promote that. I promote the Mixcloud, and I'm moving my shit over to SoundCloud now. I just forked up all this money for an unlimited account, so I'm taking advantage of it.
Sure. Might as well. I mean, it's all centralized anyway, right there.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's all. That's what I really wanted to kind of get out there, so people can check out your show, get to know
Appreciate
yourself.
you having us.
Yeah. Thanks, dude.
Awesome.
It's
So,
always nice to chat.
do what?
I said it's always nice to chat.
Nice to chat. All right. Well, this has been the fellows from the Jungle Room here in Philadelphia. I'll put the information will be up in the description of the show with all the links to their SoundClouds and their Sunday shows. And check them out. And we will see you next time.
All right.
Thanks, dude. Peace.
Later.
Peace.
Peace.